Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about an interesting side effect of the changes to Aura, Reservation, and Mines as of the 3.14 patch notes. Now, as of Path of Exile 3.14, there's a major change that was made, which is you no longer need the resource that's being reserved to reserve it. What that means is, right now, I have 6 out of 1,312 life. In the past, I wouldn't be able to turn on any auras unless the aura reserved 6 life or less, because that's the actual life I have. But I have enough maximum life to reserve these, so I can just turn them on and off at my leisure. To compensate for this, because you no longer need the resource, mines were given a mana cost. Now in the past, if you had extremely high throwing speed with your mines, you tended to need mana recovery, recover mana when you use a skill, or something similar to keep up. But now there's an interesting way that you can get around that. You'll see that currently my mine reserves 15 mana, so to throw out 10 mines, I have to have 150 unreserved mana. But it costs 6 mana, meaning if I regenerate 60 mana a second, I can throw 10 mines per second. If you come over here, that is because I have the craft non-channeling skills have -7 to total mana cost. If I take this ring off, the cost goes to 13. If I put it back on, it goes back down to 6. If I had this craft on this ring, I would have a mana cost of 0. The reason it is 13 and not 15 is because of the effect of inspiration support, causing the skill to have a reduced mana cost. So what this means is I don't necessarily need regen based on my mine throwing speed. I can make my mines cost nothing at all, so as long as I have enough unreserved mana to throw them, I'll be able to throw mines infinitely. To demonstrate this, I'm going to throw out some mines here. I've hit my limit of 17, and I have 4 unreserved mana. Now let's say I start detonating and throwing. I am very slightly gated by the speed when I go down completely to 0, but if you watch closely, you will see that because I regenerate over 60 mana per second, my mana isn't going down. In fact, as I continue to throw mines here, my mana is going up. This is a perfect way to demonstrate and, cover the screen with stuff, because who doesn't love covering the screen with mysterious white substances? The impacts of this new change. If you are struggling with mana recovery on your miner, get some minus mana cost crafts, and you'll find that cost quickly goes to 0. For anyone who's interested in this build, check out my stream coming up this Tuesday. I am going to be talking about the build in more detail in a future video once I've figured out some of the mechanics, because it's a pretty interesting concept, and I'm doing things a little different than you might expect. So if you want to see more gameplay for this build, or you're looking for a build showcase, be sure to subscribe to the channel and ring the bell. Now, normally I don't advertise too much. However, I'm going to take a little bit of time to advertise today, because Nexus is having a very large creator-centric event whereby they are giving creators all of the profits that they would normally take for games sold on their platform. What this means is if you're looking to pick up a new game, maybe you're going to be done with Path of Exile soon and you're looking to play something different, right now is a great time to do that, as when you buy through Nexus, you'll be doing far more to support your favorite creator. I have several games featured in my Nexus shop, and you can use the library search function to buy something that isn't currently featured in my shop. With that, before I call this video done, I am going to take a little bit to talk about some mine mechanics. I feel like every time I bring mines up, it's a good time to talk about them, as there's a lot of misunderstandings, and I see way too many people using Tremor, using Minefield, having a bad time, and not understanding why. Now, the big difference between Blastchain and High Impact is Blastchain, you'll put down a bunch of mines, and then detonate them in sequence. So you want to press detonate once, and they'll all go off. If you want to get really fancy, you put down a bunch of mines, you detonate once, and then you feed into the chain. This can cause problems. If you throw too many mines too quickly, you will cut the detonation chain off, like I did there. This is why a lot of people tend to have bad experiences when using Minefield and Tremor with their mines. Now, alternatively, if you want something that feels much faster, is much more responsive, and has plenty of damage, you can instead use Swift Assembly and Charged Mines. Charged Mines gives you throw speed based on the Frenzy charges and will generate Frenzy and Power charges for you. Swift Assembly essentially gives you 60% more mines thrown and a little bit of mine throwing speed. You can think of this as a damage multiplier because more mines thrown does equal more damage dealt with your mines. Minefield is very tempting, especially when you're dealing with a phased boss like Shaper, who just kind of sits there and lets you feed into your chain. However, especially as you get to higher throwing speeds, you are very likely to interrupt those chains. It does feel very awkward because you want to create those large chains, and overall when you're mapping, Minefield doesn't do anything for you. You don't need 5 mines to kill a pack of enemies, or if you do, you should probably focus a little bit more on damage. You usually need 1, maybe 2 mines to kill that entire pack of enemies. So, you'll want to focus in a little bit better on killing enemies and moving, which creates this weird stutter stepping as you're constantly canceling the animation of a minefield, but you're still dealing with the mine throw speed penalty associated with Minefield. This tends to feel pretty bad. So that is my quick TLDR of why you should not be using Blastchain mine support for any mine that hits, and also why Swift Assembly and Charged Mines are great. And if you're having any sort of mana troubles on your miner, you can easily resolve them by doing anything that reduces the mana cost of skills. So now, my question to you is this. Do you feel like you enjoy the miner playstyle? Or do you feel like they're not for you because of the amount of intense clicking? If that's the case, have you ever considered just putting Detonate on left click and playing something with high impact mines like I'm doing here? You can't really do that with Blastchain, as constantly spamming Detonate will break all your chains, which will cause you to lose a massive amount of damage. With high impact, the amount of damage that you lose is relatively minimal, and it leads to a far more smooth and responsive playstyle, especially if you drop the Minefield support like I mentioned earlier. So I'd love to hear your thoughts about mine builds and Path of Exile in general, and if your experiences have been largely positive, negative, and all that down in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and special thanks to all of my channel members who help support me so that I can continue to make videos just like this one. Your support really means a lot, and without it, I probably wouldn't be able to make videos this regularly. If you want to help support the channel, click the membership button or the link down in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful and want to ask me a question in a more interactive setting, I stream at least once a week here on YouTube, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have relating to this video or any of my other videos. Thank you again, and I hope to see you on stream sometime. Have a great day.